to talk a little bit about nodes, string nodes, and how they affect your playing. I did a whole series of videos on neck relief and why I do not like neck relief. I want my necks to be very flat, meaning when you hold the first fret and the body fret, I want to see about 4/1000ths of an inch of relief right here at about the 6th fret. And this neck is perfect, very flat. That's what I mean by flat. People say, oh, a high action, a low action, a medium action. What in the world is that, you know? When they say, oh, I don't want to see much relief. What's much relief? I use numbers a lot of times. Not that it's actually 4/1000ths of an inch. It might be 2/1000ths. It might be 6/1000ths. But it gets you into the ballpark, so at least you know where the ballpark is. You know, what I'm talking about when I say a low action, a medium action. What is that? Just give me a number, a ballpark, something like that. So, I talk about the fact that I don't like neck relief and why I don't like neck relief. I've got a whole video on that, a whole series of videos. You ought to go watch that. But real quick, people will often say, oh, you need neck relief in order to let the string vibrate through there. But I pointed out that the instant you fret the 3rd fret, your string actually does not vibrate from here to here in an arc like this. It doesn't vibrate like a clothesline snapping up and down. It vibrates in nodes. So from here to here, it vibrates in a node that goes up and down the fingerboard like this. And the distance between those nodes and the height of the nodes as they vibrate like this across the string depends upon where you pick over here. So if you pick close to the bridge, you set up a series of shallow, more frequent shallow nodes. And what that means is that you will be able to play with a lower action because those nodes are shallower. If you play over here over the sound hole, you start getting bigger nodes like this. The pitch is the same, see? The G is a G. You see? I did it when I was playing earlier. But what happens then is if you play over here, you set up shallower nodes, your string vibrates on a shallow arc, and you can play with a lower action. But the point is, your neck relief, as soon as you hit this 3rd fret right here, your first node, if you play right here, your nodes tend to be about that distance, about that far. So your point of maximum amplification is going to be midway between here and here, which as you can see is going to be right up around here around the 12th fret. And your neck relief isn't going to do anything up there. By the time you get to the 12th fret on a guitar, the heel is in the way and your neck relief, which is out here, has no effect whatsoever. In fact, neck relief is going to make your guitar tend to buzz on higher frets here because you're having to press your string down into this dip right here. So if you can imagine this neck dipping like this, because neck relief does not, again, this is all in the video, neck relief does not come up like this. Neck relief compresses because the body, the neck is on the body at an angle, and so what happens is it compresses in the middle and makes a dip right here, like this. Okay? It does not go like this, like you might think it would. It would if the neck was flat on the body, but it's not. The neck is back at an angle, and so you end up with a curve going down like this, and as you press the string down to that curve, it wants to buzz right here. And I demonstrated all this in the other video using a yardstick, but I was able to flex it and everything. So, alright, so point is, that's one thing about nodes, is that they're dependent upon where you pick the string. So as you pick closer to the bridge, you set up more shallower nodes, and you will be able to play with a lower action. If you play up in here, in fact, if you went to the 12th fret on an open string, playing at the 12th fret halfway sets up the biggest vibration of nodes that there will be. And I believe, in my knowledge of string physics, you only go so far. I believe you set up a total of 4 nodes with this thing. So you do it like this, and you set up a node that vibrates in the middle, and one that vibrates over here. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. But you get this big fat node over here. And I can visibly see the string vibrating in this huge arc, even though I'm not even playing it very hard. Huge arc. And when I play over here, it's a much tighter arc. I mean, you can see it if you do this on your guitar and play it. Big arcs. Right there. Much shallower. Alright, so that's one thing about it. The second thing that's kind of fun to know about this is, have you ever wondered why the tone of the string changes from here to here? I did that when I started, you see. I was playing the G and I played it up here, played it over the sound hole, and then I played it up here. And the tone, the sound of the instrument changed, even though the pitch was exactly the same. So you've got the pitch and you've got the tone of that pitch. How does it sound? So why does it sound different here than it does here? It gets deeper sounding as you go up here. Even though it's not deeper, it's the same pitch, it's the same note, everything. The reason it gets deeper is because you are hearing the effect of the nodes. So back here, you have more shallower nodes and it's a tighter sound. You're actually hearing the effect of those nodes. They're tighter, there's more of them. Tighter means you get that more trebly sound, you get the less bassy sound. When you get up here, and you set it like that, you're hearing big nodes. And you're hearing the amplitude of that node. You're hearing that node go up and down. And that's actually physically what you're hearing is the depth of that node. Even though the tone, even though the pitch of the string is exactly the same. So, here. Okay? So that's what's going on there. And that's why the string has a different tonal quality to it, because you're actually physically hearing the difference in the notes. Okay, occasionally I get criticisms on this channel that, all he does is play between the sound hole and the bridge, and he should play out here. And I love it when people say that. This guy should play out here. I read the comments. You can say you don't have to say this guy. You're not talking to an audience out there, you're talking to me. So, it always just makes me laugh. This guy. He. Talking to me in the third person. The reason that I don't play out over the sound hole is because I'm a bluegrass flat picker. And in order to get the percussion that you need for bluegrass rhythm, you got to play back over here. Plus, you can play harder with a lower action. And it's important to get this percussion effect here on your rhythm, and you can hear it. When you play out over the sound hole, like I just said, your strings start flopping in this big wave and you don't get that percussion. You get a deeper percussion, but it doesn't cut like this does. This is more treble and it cuts. More treble, same pitch, but the tone has more highs to it and it cuts better. And if you ever play in a bluegrass band, you will find out very, very quickly that this cuts and this does not. Plus, I hate the sound of that. The strum up there is like flop, 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 flop. Listen to the tone of this G rhythm. There is no percussion up here. It's a big floppy sound. Flop, 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 flop. Down here it's pum, 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 boom. And the other thing about that comes into play here is also the sustain of the note, and that is affecting quite a bit of what you're actually hearing here. From here, there's X amount of sustain, and up here there's more sustain, so the note comes up and carries longer and drops down. That sustain makes it hard to get a punchy sound, because punch is a snare drum. It's a short, staccato, tight sound, as opposed to something like a bass, which would go boom. There's no punch to that. It just carries on forever and ever and ever. If you want to play a bass and you want to get a punchy sound, you mute it. And you deliberately kill that sustain so that you get that bump, bump, bump. And that could be a bass drum, for instance, as long as you didn't. Yeah, bass drum would be a good example, because drums in particular are not generally known for not having sustain. But, bass drum or tom-tom or something like that, you get a deeper tone, and you can kill that tone by keeping your pedal down or keeping your stick down on it. So you get the deep tone, not the sustain. So bump, bump. You get a deep tone, keep your stick down there to kill it, and you would have a deep tone with no sustain, and that's what gives you punch. And when you don't want punch, then you take it off again, boom, and it keeps you echoing a little bit longer. So in bluegrass, especially, you need the punch, because you're going at a speed at which, if you have sustain, all those notes just mush together, as opposed to chung, 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 chung. And I know for a fact, when I'm playing rhythm guitar, bluegrass rhythm guitar, and the tempo picks up to where it gets really fast, I play even fewer strings than I normally do, maybe 2, 3 strings, and I keep that tone as tight as I can, because that gives that really short percussive thing, then that's what gives you your drive. So watch what happens if I pick up the speed on this and play up here where it's loose and floppy. First of all, it's hard to do that because the strings are flopping around all over the place, and strings still going down when you're moving your pick up. It's hard to do. So, but let's try it. Okay, so here's a pretty quick, pretty peppy bluegrass rhythm, and I'm going to move back and forth and control that tone. And you listen to the amount of mush that it gives out. I heard 10 times the drive when I moved back into here. When I went up here, I even tried to use more strings so to get that, That's horrible. It's horrible. You would use it for country, maybe, like Johnny Cash. I mean, I'm thinking of Johnny Cash when I did that. But even Johnny used it for a purpose, for that sound. And I don't think he actually played all that hard. A lot of times he's just... The effect that you get up there is an effect. I'm not saying it's always bad, It would be inappropriate to play some old country songs back here at the bridge because you would have too much drive. Sometimes you want that loose floppy sound, and that's when you would come up here. Electric guitar, Keith Richards is up here all the time. But it's also soft. If you watch, Keith rarely plays windmill stuff. And when he comes up the neck here, he's deliberately getting that. He's deliberately getting that sort of sound. Backwards. You can get a percussion sound up here from that too, from the slapping of the strings. And that's what Johnny Cash usually would get. In fact, there's a thing where he would put cards in between here in order to get the a little bit of the snare drum sort of thing. And I doubt he uses a pick that's stiff too, which is bluegrass pick. A floppy pick will definitely give you a brushy sound, like fill in some of the missing drum parts, and that's what's going on when you do this. In fact, I have to hold my pick really super loose to try to get that brushy sound. But there is no drive to that. Not like this. That's drive. All right, so those are some things where your notes come into play, and the reason that you're getting those different tones as you move your pick up and down is because the nodes change, and you're getting big nodes as opposed to tight, frequent nodes, and that's going to affect your action. It's going to check the way the guitar sounds as far as tone goes. One other story about this is that there's a Stevie Ray Vaughan deal, Lenny. Go listen to the studio recording of Lenny. He doesn't do it live as much on this, but about 3/4 of the way through Lenny, there's a part where you can hear him switch pickups. You can hear that click if you listen close enough, and all of a sudden the tone changes to the bridge pickup, and then he does this thing up here that's going. And I listened over and over and over and over that, and I swear I heard notes changing, like I was thinking it was something like this. But when I put my guitar against it, I couldn't get it. It was a note, but there was something going on with the tone of that thing. Well, I finally saw Stevie on the video, and I saw what he was doing, and he was doing that. And he's windmilling, and he's going. And on the Strat, the tone changes so much on there that it really honestly sounds like different notes going on, but you hear it, and it's not a different note, but it's such a different sound that, man, it fools me. Fools a lot of people that I had to listen to it, and I'd say, man, is that a different note or the same note? The same thing like on the Strat, where you can reach over and you can play that note. Eddie Van Halen did that, and you flip the pickup switch back and forth, and you change toggle through the pickups, and man, that can be a confusing deal. If you watch Eddie on Ain't Talking About Love. Yeah, Ain't Talking About Love on the solo he does on there. I think it's that one, and I don't think it's You Really Got Me. I think it's Ain't Talking About Love. One of those two songs, and when you listen to the recording, there's this, Eddie plays a solo, and at the end of it, there's this sound. How in the world is he getting that? And you watch the video, and it's the pickup switch. And, of course, Eddie was well known on that original Strat thing that he had, really just that one pickup on it. And so the switch was a kill switch. And so what he's doing is switching from the kill on and off as he does his hand moving. So it's going. It is the coolest sound in the world. baffling to me. And really all it is a tone change going on as it goes through the pickup and then to a dead spot. So chicka 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 chicka, and the chicka kunk. That little dead spot in there is a dead spot on the pickup selector switch. So you get a tone shift from chicka. There's a tone change, and then and it's dead, and then back. So it goes chicka 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 chicka. That is cool. And it's just a tone change. That's all it is. Tone, tone, tone. The tone change comes from the nodes changing. And once again, it comes from the length of that node and the depth of the node, the height of the node, and all of those things change. And that's just how this thing works, and it's interesting to me as to why the tone changes as you do that. Now, theoretically, how far is that? Probably 3 frets. So theoretically, about a 3rd or 4th fret, I ought to get the same. I like the 3rd. Pretty close, huh? So that's kind of a fun thing to do, you know. So the node here is the same as the node here. And then as you move up here, it comes to here. That's why when you get to the 12th fret, you're halfway, and it sounds the same. You can't do the 12th fret twice, you know. You've only got one. That sets up massive waves on this thing. So how do you use that? I mean, you know, you don't really use it except to know that if you are going to play up here, you're going to probably have to have a higher action, or you're going to accept the buzzes as part of the sound you're trying to get, because fret slap is a valid organic sound out of the guitar, and getting that fret slap can do a secondary percussion thing, which Johnny Cash used, you know, deliberately get that fret slap to mimic the sound of a drum set maybe a little bit, or just to add another level of percussion in there. So, you know, that's a valid technique. But if you're going to play up here and you want buzz-free tone, you're going to have a higher action. When you play back here, you can use a lower action for smoother, easier fingering and play harder on it too. And so the way you can use this sort of information practically is if you're playing up in here and you're getting a little bit of buzz, try moving your hand back just a little bit and see if you can tighten up that node and eliminate the buzz that way. I don't know, it's just useful information to me. It's interesting. We're back. I had a delivery, they knocked on the door, she heard that. So that's just a little bit about nodes. And like I was saying there, if there's anything that I'm good at, it's figuring out how things work, why they work. And there's a little bit of useful information there as far as the fact that how the nodes are going to affect your string height action and how they're going to affect your tone and that kind of thing. There's going to be, sooner or later, there's going to be a way that I'm going to use this. But I think it's interesting stuff that just helps me understand the guitar a little bit better, all stringed instruments and that kind of thing. It does explain to you why you really don't need neck relief. It just doesn't work that way, you know. You need a flat neck and then adjust your actuator. Again, I have videos on this. So, okay, I just want to get this done. I thought this would be a fun thing for guitar nerdism sort of thing. And here's a D41, the customer's D41, and I'm just playing a little bit more. I'm waiting for his check to show up, which it will, and then this guitar's get shipped out. Again, the longer I keep these guitars, the more I get to know them, the more I look at them, the better they turn out every time. This guitar is a beast. He owns the D35 that's also in there with a large sound hole. And they are just two absolutely distinct guitars. This thing's is really nice. I would love to have one of these because they're basically, you know, they're D28s, but they got more bling on it. And so, super nice guitar. This one's fun. See ya.